Hello. I'm early. I was so excited I couldn't wait. I needed to come on right away. It's been so long. I figure if I come on a bit early, then people will find it and we can get started right around 8. Hello, everyone. It has been way too long since I've been live. I tried so hard to get on here earlier this week and it just did not happen. I am playing catch up. That's all there is to it. So, how have you guys been? Good? Enjoying summer? It's already August. How did that happen? I don't even know. It's kind of nuts. Well, hello, Amanda. I was just talking to her. Okay, people are starting to roll in. How was my vacation? I hope you had family time. Well, so vacation was crazy. Amanda and I were attending a trade show in Las Vegas. So getting home was fun because we ended up at the airport during that Microsoft outage thing. So we got very intimate with the inside of the airport, which was super fun. And I think we were up 24 hours straight, but we made it home, no problem. And then, you know, of course, there's recovering for that. And then I was home, but working until we left midweek for a racing event that we were doing. So it was a good vacation. It was a good break from the store, but I don't know if I would call it restful, but that's okay. My mind was rested. Let's put it that way. And now we're in full swing. But when you're away for a week for a trade show and then you're, not at the store and out of routines for another week, when it takes you a bit to get back into the swing of things. And that's what this week has been about for me. I had lots of piles on my desk and paperwork that needed to be attended to and so on. So that's what I've been busying myself with and not being creative. But I'm really excited about this month's calendar page, and that is what we're going to be talking about tonight. So I said to Shelby when I was at the store today that I need to gather up all of my layouts for this year and put them in an album. I hadn't done it yet, so I did it. And while I was doing it, I pulled out my album from last year because we did this calendar series last year, and my album is completely finished, like title page, all the months straight through to December. So I took a few minutes and I looked through it and I was like, oh my gosh, I just love it so much. So, I'm over halfway through this year and I'm super excited with how it is coming together. So I thought I would go through the album with you. Hopefully I can get it all on the screen. I'm not sure if it's going to work out or not, but we'll try. I used to show all the layouts in an album at the beginning of each live last year, and then I kind of got away on it, and it didn't happen. So, as most of you know, we do the calendar bundles each month, and so how it started was we used to do calendar kits that were designed to go on the top of a blank calendar and give as a gift. But as that evolved, we saw people just buying it, the kits for one-page layouts, which was fine too. And we needed to make a big change. So we did that. When did we do that? It wasn't last year. Was it last year that we did it? Or it was sort of the end of the year before? I don't really know. But we switched things up and we came up with this idea that will work not only for those people who want to make calendars as a gift, but for those people who just want to scrapbook, and that's me. I don't have a lot of time for scrapbooking right now. It is definitely where my heart, my crafty heart falls. But I really felt like I was missing out, and that's, we kind of started Planner for that, but I didn't keep up with that. I passed the designing along to Amanda, and then I didn't do it anymore. So I wasn't doing anything, and it really was bothering me. So I've had this idea in my head for a really long time, and I thought, you know what? This is going to be my baby. Because if I hand the designing over to somebody else, then I don't get to do it myself. And so this one's really my baby. And I love how it is coming together for me. So I hope that it is also working for you guys. I know a lot of you buy the bundles and you stash them away, and one day you'll make them. So I encourage you to pull those bundles out and actually make it. Amanda says she refused. Yeah, I know. I'm having way too much fun with it. I'm not passing it off. Okay. So I'm going to do a quick run through of just, this is this year. So this is what it looks like for me when I put it in my album. So I will make a title page. I don't know if I'm going to do a title page bundle this year. We did one last year. You know, a few people took advantage of it, but I'm not sure that I'm going to actually do a bundle. Sorry, I'm just going to move my little iPad out of the way here. I'm not sure if I'm going to do a calendar title page bundle this year or not, but we'll see how it progresses. So far, it's blank. So yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to get the whole thing on the screen, but I'll move it back and forth. So this is January. Oh, I just have to slide this way a bit. Okay, let's just see here. It takes a minute for my iPad to catch up. So you get most of it, yeah. So this is January. Do you guys remember when we did January? Oh my gosh, with the vellum snowflake. I love it. And that really cool clear texture paste that we just fell in love with. And yep, that's back when winter was winter. And then this was our February page, which I love too. I love them all. Like I think each month is my new favorite. So I love looking back at the photos. And so this is my 2023 year. I don't know, most of you are probably doing 2024, but I'm doing 2023. I need to be able to work ahead, so I'm using last year's photos. So the album I made last year was for 2022. So it's really fun seeing all the fun things that our family does, and the littles growing up. Super cool. So that's March. And then this was April. This is when I used the postage collage dies, which I do have plans to use again. And this is May, which I also really love. So we're now starting to get into the rainbow phase that I'm going through. And then this was June. This was last month. So while we're on the June page, we have just a few June kits left. So if you have not picked up June yet, or you want to, you can pick up the June bundle. If you are doing, you know, the calendar version, this is what it kind of looks like in an album. If you are doing a blank calendar, then this part would go on the top of the calendar, and then this would be the part that would be on below it. So you can set it up just like we do here, or you can do it differently if you like. But either way, it's awesome. And even if you aren't doing the calendar thing at all and you just want to take advantage of the layout designs that we do in a single page format, it's great to jump in and do that too. And each layout, we kind of do different things. I'm very, very into making my own backgrounds. You'll pretty much notice that on all of the layouts on this side, they're different, you know, like they're using inks and splattering and smooshing and all kinds of things. Here we made like a grid on top. So we're always creating different things. We use stencils. We do all kinds of fun stuff. So they do change each month. And then right under here is July. So I'm going to do the reveal, but it's going to be in my album, but then I'll pull it out and we'll go through everything. So, so just with thumbs up for those that are watching right now, hit the thumbs up button if you are actually creating the layouts. I know Shelby's watching, and I don't know if she's done anything for this year yet. Maybe she has. She usually saves the layouts for when we go away scrapbooking, and she works on those. So I know she'll probably do a thumbs up, but I know Amanda has done 0. I usually do this side of the page, like the background for her, and then I hand her the bundle, and then I don't think she does anything. I don't see any thumbs up at all. So does that mean nobody's creating anything? We have to fix that somehow. I talked a while back about doing these virtual online Zoom meetings starting in the fall, where you sign up for a virtual spot, and we create together for an hour and a half. Everybody works on different projects, but we're being held accountable to come and show up and actually make stuff. And I'm going to do it too. So maybe you guys all can bring your calendar pages. I didn't get one thumbs up. Is my thing broken? Okay, wait, hang on. Oh, Amanda says, I've done up until May? Really? Sorry, my comments were turned off. Maybe you guys did do thumbs up. So Shelby's done up to April. Kim's doing them. Amanda's giving me heck. I must have just missed it. So in-store class. No in-store classes, Judy. Sorry. Not at this time. Sharon's behind, but she's working on them. Okay. Oh, Darlene's all caught up. Well, that's amazing. There were lots of thumbs up. Okay, well, see, that's awesome. So I must have flicked something on my screen. Colleen just completed June. So there are people doing it. That's amazing. Okay, awesome. That is really great to see because, it's one thing to purchase all the supplies, but it's another thing to actually create things with them. And that's what my goal is for the fall, is to get some more interactive creating going on. So I think it's going to be really fun. For me, it's great because I create best when I'm in my own scrapbook room. I don't know about you guys. Some people like to get out of the house to do it. So you could go over to your friends and then turn in for the Zoom session. But I really like being in my own space, and because my creative journey is all over the place. I don't start and finish in the spot that I think I'm going to start and finish. It always branches off into all sorts of different things, and so I never know what I'm going to need. And I just feel like I like to be surrounded by my stuff. Is anybody else like that? I really like being in my room when I create. So I'm kind of looking forward to it. Yeah, I like having I do. I love having all my stuff around me, because if I decide, hey, I want to try that, then it's just right here. So anyways, so let's do the reveal for July. Are you guys ready? So July is bright and colorful, and I had so much fun creating it. So here we go. So here is July, and we are using the Bold and Bright collection from Vicki Boutin. As soon as I saw that collection come in, I thought, ooh, I really want to work with it. Now, I was nervous because this product comes from American Crafts, and I'm like, oh my God, are we even going to get it? So I was having a minor heart attack behind the scenes, but it did work out great. And the ink is barely dry on this because I just finished it up this week, but it was a ton of fun to do, and I'm excited to share it with you. Carrie says she likes to be at home to create too. So it sounds like for a lot of you, it'll be great to do these monthly Zoom meetings, creative sessions, we'll call them that. And we can do some creating. So I'm kind of looking forward to it. Probably not September, but maybe when we get, when the weather starts to turn and we're inside more and my outdoor racing season is finished, we can definitely plan. And it'll be fun because we're going to use our inspiration group as a platform for showing finished projects. So there's going to be some guidelines and stuff that go along with this, but it's going to be fun. I'm excited about it. So anyways, okay, let's pull this out because we need to talk about these pages, and I can't really do it when they're in the album. So I'm going to pull this out, and we are going to get started on that. So I managed to get my album put together for the 2023 series, which I'm using these pages for, which was great. So that's a step in the right direction too. All right, so what do you guys think? Do you love it? I love it. Now, what I meant to do today, and I totally forgot, is to bring a blank page of this home. I have a bundle here, which is Amanda's bundle, which is what I'm going to be using to demonstrate with tonight, except that when I did this page, I did a test version first, and then I did my real version. So my test version, which turned out really great, is Amanda's page. So some of the ink blending is already done on hers. But I will still demo how I did it, but the paper that you're going to receive does not have this ink blending that you see going out here and the splattering. The paper does not come with that on it. It's something that we add. Okay, love the colors. It will be nice for me as I'm no longer able to drive due to failing eyesight, so it's nice to have Zooms. Oh, yeah. Well, and I mean, yeah, we'll have a conversation about Zooms in another live. I'm going to try to keep focused on the calendar here. But yeah, I have plans for the fall. I think it's going to be good. And there might be some in-store opportunities. You just never know. I do have things brewing around in my head. It's just whether or not it makes sense to implement them or not is the real question. So we'll see where the fall takes us. But I think it's going to be great. Okay, so let's talk about the bundle. The bundle includes this lovely paper. So this is called Daily Reminder, and it is all covered in words. Now, this is one of those papers that's tricky for me because I love this side of the paper, but this side is also very functional. So this is where I don't love double-sided paper because you have to choose or you have to buy more than one sheet. Because you may want one side versus the other. So in this particular case, I did choose to use the blue side of the word paper. See, I didn't even use the word paper. Because I wanted it to go behind the sun paper that I was going to be using. And the word paper, as much as I loved it, when I put it behind the sun paper, it just looked too busy and you couldn't really tell it was word paper. So I kiboshed that idea. So we're going to be using, or I used the blue grid side of the paper. I love papers like this that have this grid format on them. They make a great background paper. It just has a little bit of detail on it, but it's not overwhelming or kind of in your face. It's just subtle, and you can use it to actually journal on and record things, which is really cool. But it also makes for a very nice backdrop for other things as well. So you get to see the grid detail peeking through, but it just looks like a colored border, which is what I was going for here. So that worked out really well. So that's the one paper that comes in the bundle. And then the other paper is obviously this sun paper. Now, when you're looking at it here, this is not, you can see that I've done this ink blending out here. That's not part of the paper. You're going to have to actually do that part yourself if you want to. Now, when I did my page, I took the blending out just a little bit further than I did on my test page, but either way will be great. And we're actually going to use it in this direction. So the paper is actually upside down. So your barcode is at the bottom here, which you're going to remove, and your sun is actually at the bottom, and then the rays are going out like that. So I flip the paper upside down, and then they end up going, or cut that barcode off, and then they end up going over top of each other like this. So that's what we're doing with those two papers. And then you get a full package of the ephemera, and this is the journaling ephemera. And there are 56 pieces of ephemera in these packages. So we do not use 56 pieces of ephemera on this layout. So you have lots of extra die cuts. So this is my bag of extras. So there is so much stuff in these ephemera packs. And it's a great opportunity to layer things and cut things up and do all kinds of fun stuff with it. So I love any kind of ephemera. For all you paper collectors out there, because I know as scrapbookers, we are paper collectors. When new collections come out and you say, oh my God, I can't get any more paper. I just can't. And I totally get that because it starts to take over your crafting spaces. But take a look at the embellishments that come with the lines, because often companies like Simple Stories and Echo Park and Photoplay, even companies like 49 and Market and things like that, they tend to use the same color palettes year after year. And let's say you have a collection of paper, but you've used up a lot of the embellishments that you have. in your stash. So just buy more ephemera and buy more enamel dots and buy more stickers and rub-ons and things like that, because those things you can work with collections you already have. Or if you're like me, especially lately, I'm finding that I'm using less and less pattern paper. So you don't need a lot of pattern paper. Even if you only have bits of papers left in collections, adding the embellishments really stretches your stash. Because I mean, I keep this and then I'll throw it in a bag with other products from this line. And then I'll have other collections that have very similar color palettes that this can cross over into and use for all kinds of different things. Or if you're making your own backgrounds, like on the calendar side of the page, I just blended the background and did some splattering on it, and that is my color. So now if you did something like that, you can pull all of these leftover embellishments in, and you can maybe even make extra pages that you will follow this July page in your album. So tons and tons of options for the leftover embellishments. So you're going to be left with lots of them. And the other great thing about having a selection like this is that, let's say, I'm going to pull my page back in. Right here, I've used one of the title pieces that says super cool dude. And I've got a picture of my grandsons there. Maybe you don't have a super cool dude in your photos, so you want to replace this with something else. Well, guess what? There's all kinds of stuff in this bag of leftovers that you can substitute and switch this up to something different very easily. So it does give you lots of options for personalizing, which I love too. So you get a full pack of that ephemera as well. So the 2 pattern papers plus the ephemera is what makes up your bundle this month. And then we have a few add-ons that we're going to talk about as well. So as always, the calendar paper, which was out of stock, by the way. We ordered in a ridiculous amount of this calendar paper when we started this series, and believe it or not, we sold it all. And so it kind of crept up on us, and so we had to put in another really large order because I don't plan on stopping this series at the end of this year. We're going to continue it into next year as well. So we had just received a large shipment of the calendar paper, so that is an add-on. We don't put it in every bundle because not everyone is doing the calendar portion, and we don't want to waste that paper. So if you want the calendar paper, it is something that you purchase extra. And then also the die cuts that you see at the top here that say July, that's an add-on as well. It's just a little die cut bag that you can purchase. So if you want that, and they coordinate with the collection of papers that we've used, and they match perfectly. So you can pick that up as an add-on as well. And I'm just going to look at my list. I definitely need to look at my list because you don't want me going all off the grid here. So, okay, so I did do some stitching on this layout. Now, some of you are groaning. I know it. I can't hear you, but I can hear you. So this patterned paper, I'll just pull out the one from the bundle here that I was doing as my test paper. If you look closely, you can see the black lines. I don't know, can you see that? They're like, it's like faux stitching. So rather than just leaving it as faux stitching, I got out my needle and thread and I actually stitched over top of those lines with black floss. I love a layout with a little bit of black on it. I feel like, I don't know whether it grounds it or it pops all the colors or what it does, but it just really looks awesome, and I like adding the black. So I just followed the design on the sun, and I stitched those black lines on there. You don't have to. You can certainly leave it the way that it is, but if you look at the paper, the way that it comes next to the black stitching that I did, it just really defines it and helps it pop out. Now, you could probably take a Sharpie and really darken up those sections if you wanted to, but I love to stitch, so I did that. The other place that I stitched, so that's the black floss, and then the other place I stitched was all around the outside edge of my layout, and that's just straight back stitching, and I did that in white floss. So that is also something you can choose not to do. I didn't go crazy and stitch all of the rays for the sun. I thought you might shoot me, so I didn't. I also thought it would be a little bit too much stitching on the page, so I decided just to let those stitch lines that are already on the paper just be the stitching that shows. So no extra stitching there, but you could certainly do it if you wanted to. So black and white floss are available to purchase in our add-on section. Now, people will say, well, how much floss should I use? Or should I buy? So the thing is, it really depends on how neat you are when you do your stitching. Not that it's bad if you're not neat on the back, because like you can see that I wasted a lot just by jumping from one section to the other. And when you do that, you use more. But I'm also only using 3 strands or 2 strands of floss. So in a skein, when you get a piece like this, there's actually 6 strands of floss that are in there. And I separate it and I only use 2 or 3. It makes your stitching look a little less bulky, and it also stretches your thread. So if you are tearing it apart into 2 or 3 strand sections, 2 yards, we sell it 2 yards at a time, is plenty. But if you want to have a little bit in your stash to add stitching to other projects, you can buy it in different lengths, but 2 yards should be good. And that should give you lots for this, this project. So white and black floss are in the add-on section. And then I'm going to bring your attention to the Tim Holtz Zero Centering Ruler. Now, the reason I love this ruler is because of the markings that are on it. And I don't know that they're really going to show up here. Let me just pull out. Oh yeah, so if you've got a sewing machine, you can totally do that too, but I am too lazy to do that. I don't have a space for that in my craft room, and I don't sew a lot. I could make a space, but I actually really like to hand stitch. But if you like to machine stitch, you can totally do that. I'm just pulling out a piece of paper here so you can see this. So look at the grid marks that are on this ruler. It makes it very, very nice to mark for stitching, and the ruler is see-through. So it helps with lining things up and making them straight. You can use your T ruler if you like as well, but I really like this one. This one has a square edge, this side here, and this one has like a slanted edge. There are holes right in the ruler that you probably could, if you had a piercing tool that was really, really thin, you could probably pierce through them. I don't use them, but the markings go right to the edge of the ruler, and I find it really easy to mark my holes for stitching. So if you are looking for a ruler that works well, this Tim Holtz one, I think Shelby put this in the add-on section. It's definitely a favorite. And this is a zero centering ruler, so the center is marked, and then you can work 6 inches out in each direction. So one side is marked that way. The other side is just 1 through 12. So it's a great ruler. I use that one often in my room. So I thought I would highlight that this month if you're interested. You need needles for stitching. You need a poker tool to make your holes. So I use, well, it's here somewhere. Oh, it's red. I was looking for a black one. So this is the poker tool I use. It's a Tim Holtz one. I believe this is black now. They don't have red ones anymore, but it's retractable. So that's what I use to pierce all my holes. And I will do a little stitching demo for you. The Wolfpack Thickers. So I've used these in previous months. So if you haven't picked these up yet, they're great to have in your stash. I love the font, I love the size, and I love that they're black. They're neutral. And that's what I used right here to do the Life is Good. And it's nice because you can personalize. So if you don't want to say life is good, maybe you want to say life sucks. Maybe you want to say something else. Maybe you're highlighting a particular event. You know, whether it be camping. In this particular case, we were visiting the kids when they were camping. So I could have done that. But you can personalize whatever you put here. So having a set of letters like this is awesome. You can also use an alpha set that you might have in your stash, but this is a good one. And we've used it a few times already. You can see that some of my letters are starting to disappear, but that is the set that I used on my layout right here. And then get to inks in a minute. I am using, last month I highlighted this large watercolor brush. I am using that again this month to do my splattering. I wanted my splattering to be large and chunky because I'm doing like a whole background. So these brushes are quite nice. They come in a set of 5. They all have different size tips, and you will be seeing me using these quite frequently in the calendar series and other projects as well. So if you didn't pick them up last month, you might want to consider, because we're using them again this month. I know some of you hold back a little bit just to see, well, how often is she really going to use those? But you will see me using these often. So I did use the largest brush in that one again. And then a water mister of some kind. So I use the Spellbinders mister. I also have the Tim Holtz Distress Sprayer handy. So whatever you spray water with, you'll want to have that. And then blending brushes. So I'm going to be using my Altenew, these medium-sized ones. I love them. And but whatever blending brushes you're using is great, because well, if you want to do this, I extended the color out between the rays of sunshine here, just to expand on the background. And it's it really makes a difference. I wish I would have brought a blank sheet home so I could have shown you, because I just forgot that. But anyways, I will demo it in a few minutes here. Tiny diamonds. I used the pastel and the bold packages. We've used these many times before as well, so you might already have them in your stash. Any sequins or anything will work, but you'll notice that I've got clusters of those tiny diamonds in rainbow format here on both pages. So it's just a really nice embellishment. It doesn't jump out, but it blends in nicely, and I love the rainbow of colors that they come in. So I use those, and then I did use a stamp. Now, Shelby was the first one. She caught it right away as soon as I showed her the layout. She goes, "Where'd you get that stamp?" I cannot reveal where I got it because we can't even get it. So I'm not going to bother telling you, because it's not available to purchase anywhere. It is something that I've had for a very long time. But what I am going to encourage you to do is look through your stamps and find something that will work for your layout. So I used a stamp that says "Love This," and you can see it's used in multiple places throughout the layout. And I actually stamp it and then I stamp off. So I'll demonstrate that. I know Shelby wants to, she just knows people will ask, and she needed to know. And I totally understand that. So you can see it over here too, and down here and over here. So I did use it multiple times, but there are a number of small stamps in a lot of sets that you can have a look and see. And the other thing that I used stamps for was, this is a tab that's built into a journal card, and it had a little white space there, and I thought, oh, what could I put there? So I looked through my stamps and I found some words that I thought were generic enough that would work. So then I found the word awesome, I found the word fun, and I found the word happy. So those are 3 places where I stamped. And again, they come from all different sets. So I just encourage you to go and look through your stash. You might be smart. You might even find you have stickers or something that will go there too. So anything will work, or you can just leave it blank and don't do it at all. Whatever you like. And then because I used a stamp set, you can't really put, well, you could if you had a large Misty, but even then it's kind of awkward. I used an acrylic block to apply the ink to the stamp and then stamp it onto my layout. And then I also used a sanding block on all of my pictures as well. So I think, oh, and then I used my T ruler for lining up my title when I put it on my page. I pretty much show that every month. So, and this ruler will work quite nicely for marking your stitching. The thing is, the lines on this one, you can see every 1/4 inch and 1/8 of an inch, but not quite as easily as you can on that 0 centering ruler. So, I don't know. It's kind of like scissors and blending brushes. They all have a purpose, And some tasks are easier with one tool versus another. So, but if you can only work with one, then just, you know, do what you do. Okay, so that is all of the add-ons. Now, as far as cutting instructions and things like that, it's not too difficult this month. Your 2 pattern papers. So the first one is that, slide this over here, is that the one with the grid. So this one it's called Daily Reminder. That's the name of the paper. You're basically going to remove the barcode and use the blue side. There's no extra cutting. Now this barcode does have a design on it, so you may want to save that with all your extra embellishments, because you may be able to use that for something. But you don't cut this paper down at all, other than just removing the barcode. And I did use it the correct direction. So I don't think you can really tell too much by looking at the layout, because most of it gets covered up, but I did use it the right way up. So there's that. And then the Light of Day, which is the sun paper. So this one you're actually going to flip upside down. So you want the sun in the lower right corner. Okay, and what you're going to do is you're going to cut 1/2 inch off the top and the left side. You don't want to cut it off the right or the bottom, because the sun's already kind of down in that corner. So you want to remove the 1/2 inch from the top and 1/2 inch from the side, the left side. And then that's going to layer right on top of the blue, and it's going to leave that nice 1/4 inch border all the way around. Okay, so that is that. And then we're going to go through the ephemera. So I'm going to get rid of this, and I'll just point out. So what I recommend doing is, if you have some sort of tray that you can dump all of your ephemera out, spread it out, and kind of, that way when you go looking for some of the stuff, because some of the things are stuck together. I didn't really want to open Amanda's package, but I might have to, just so you can see. I'm just looking for some of it. Some of them are stuck together and you tear them apart. So for instance, here's one here. Here's the one I'm looking for. Okay, so this one here. So this, you could use this as a whole piece, but these are perforated, so you can tear them apart. Okay, so then they're all individual strips, and that is what I did when I was creating the layout. So when you go through yours, you'll be able to see that some of them come from pieces like that. And shall we just put up the those Spellbinders stacking trays? Oh my gosh. Can you put your list of ephemera once you go through? Put it up? Put it up where? I'm going to put it right here. You can take a screenshot. How about that? Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm just going to go through and I'll point them out. So on this page, you're going to use the 3 clips right here. So one has teal, one has pink, and one has orange. There are other colors in the package that I don't use. You're going to use 3 of the Polaroids. So one is yellow. It's got the yellow pieces on it. The other one is blue. And then this one is the one that has the lined paper on it. So 3 Polaroids. And then I used the Super Cool Dude, the Wildly Wonderful. I love this one. So Freaking Happy. I used the Hey Circle and the Life is Pretty Good. So this is one of those strips that you tear off. Okay, so I'm only using one of those. So that is all of the ephemera that I used on this side. Now I'm just going to flip my little list here. So the second list is 3 journal cards that I stacked together to make this piece here. So you can see there's the journal card here with the notebook edge. Then there is a pink sort of notebook style one that I layered over top, and then this green one down at the bottom. So those are 3 different pieces that I sort of, stuck together, and then I used it as a mat for my photo. And then the Having Fun. And then I layered one of those word strips that says Wild and Wacky right over the top. And then there is the green tab. The word that says Stories to Tell, that's this piece right here. There's the ampersand circle. another one of the word strips that says Adventures Await. Then we've got the pink Polaroid and the pink banner. So that is all of the ephemera that I use. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hold this up so you can take a screenshot if you like, or you can pause it if you're watching the video, and then that will be right there. And then you can search through all your ephemera and you can dig out the pieces that you need. Okay, and that's, I mean, nobody creates as they're watching this live with me now because you don't have your bundles. So that's the beauty of these videos, is that you can go back and watch them and pause, and then, you know, find your pieces, or, you know, follow the step, and then you can carry on. So that's why I write these things out in big, so that you can kind of, you know, pause your screen and see them, or take a screenshot, whatever you prefer. So that is all really the instructions. Now I will say, as far as photo sizes go, the larger photos, so this one here, this one here, this one, and this one, and this one. So the ones in the Polaroids plus this one here, those are 3x4 photos. And then I just cut them down to fit inside the Polaroid frames. And then the other small photos, I collage them and then I cut them apart. So depending on the collaging or how many photos you want to use, that's going to vary for everybody. But basically you just want to cluster photos in both of those spots there. And then you're off to the races. Now I did also pull over some of the black stitching onto my calendar side of the page. So what I did was I just pierced a line of holes, and then I just added the stitching, and I was mimicking what was going on over here with the sun. So I just think it pulls that black over to this side as well. And then I did some ink blending just in rainbow colors on the back, and some splattering in the calendar area, and then just layered all the photos and everything on top. And then I did mention that I sand the edges of my pictures. So when I print my photos, I print my own here from home, and I print on a matte paper, so no gloss or anything. It will work with glossy photos, but I take my sanding block and I actually sand the edges, and it kind of gives it like a white border around each photo, which kind of works like a little bit of a matting. And there's my son down there. He's gone mountain biking and he's got dirt all over his face, but you can kind of see the white on those photos as well. Especially this one here, you can kind of see the edging. And I really like the way that that looks. So it's a great, whoop, I should not touch the screen. Okay, yeah, so it just kind of gives your photos a little bit more definition, which is a technique that I like to do as well. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is just sort of demo the ink blending that I did on this background piece here. So like I said before, I didn't go out quite as far with my ink blending when I did my test paper. So what I'm going to do now is just add a little bit more blending to pull that out, just to kind of show you what I'm doing. It's nothing super technical. Now when I didn't go through the ink colors. That's what I skipped over. So let's do that. So I am using Pink Fresh inks, which I've been doing a lot lately. And every time I show this case, you all get excited. The reason I love the Pink Fresh inks, well, one of the reasons I love them is because they are released in color families. So each one of these rows of 4 is a color family that is available. So I don't have the names of all the color families in here, but all of these pinks come in one package, and they go from light to dark. So it's very nice if you are traveling anywhere with your inks, because you have a nice range of colors, and they're in the form of ink cubes, so they make it really easy for travel. I store them in the Pink Fresh case. So this one holds all of the Pink Fresh inks in cube format, and they're in rows of 4, so you can easily see the gradient color in each family. Now, the other great thing about it is if you want to select colors in the same tone, meaning, you know, the medium tone or the dark tone or the light tone, it makes it really easy when you're looking at them in here, because everything in the 3rd row is kind of the same depth of color. Everything in the 1st row gives you that nice soft hue to it, and then everything in the 4th row gives you the darkest version of that color. So it's kind of nice. Now, do you have to stay within that? Absolutely not. You can jump around however you like. Any other ink company will work just as well. The reason it's easy for me to use these inks is because I can just pull them out and they're all right here. If I'm using my larger ink pads, I got to run over and say, okay, I've got this pink, I've got this, you know, so I'm pulling them all from random piles. And this just happened to be on my desk when I was creating. So it's what I went for. So I think I used Pink Fresh inks last month too, but you can certainly substitute. I didn't swatch out comparable colors. That's a lot of work. But if you want to substitute with another ink brand, you certainly can. We do have a number of customers, just since, you know, showing these in the videos and using them, that are starting to pick up these ink cube families, and they're fabulous to work with. Now, we are out of some of the color families, but I just noticed that they've come back in stock again. So when we get our next shipment, they should start to arrive back at the store. So if you're waiting for any of them or you're looking for any of them, just let us know and we can notify you by email to let you know that they're back in stock. So anyway, so the colors I used were Raspberry Bliss, which is the darkest pink in the top row here. And then I used Passion Fruit, which is where? Right here. So this is kind of like a coral mango kind of color. And then Clementine, which is the orange. And then Sweet Mustard, which is the yellow. And then Paradise, which is on this side. Paradise, which is like a teal, like a light teal. And then Aquamarine. Now this one is like a green, a greenish, more greeny teal. Some teals are more blue and some are more green. So this one is on the more green side. And then Blue Jay, which is somewhere. Where's Blue Jay? Right here. So that's the dark blue color that I used. So how many did I use? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 7 different colors of ink. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just expand. Whoops, I took the whole paper with me. Oh, I wanted to point out too. So this side of the paper is spectacular, but if you flip it over, that is what we're not using, which I have a hard time with. It's such a great paper too. So yeah, but I stuck with the sun. Okay, so when I'm using my ink cubes, I like to use something called an ink stand. And that, it's a stand with little rubber feet on it. It allows me to put my ink cubes in here. And then when I'm picking up the ink with my blending brushes, I'm not chasing my ink pad all over the table. So it works really well. So I'm just gonna have that sitting up at the top there. And I'm just gonna pull out my, my Raspberry Bliss. I just got ink all over my hand. My Raspberry Bliss ink cube and blending brush. And I'm just going to show you kind of what I was doing. I'm not going to do the whole paper because you don't need to sit and watch me do that. But basically, what I did was I started at the base down here, and I just started blending in the area that this pink was and that this pink was. And I just sort of followed the color pattern that's actually in the sun. So I'm just going to take this and I'm just going to expand it out a little bit more. And I start with a light hand. And Amanda's probably going, okay, Mom, if you're going to blend one out, you better blend them all out, which I will. And then down here, there's another pink spot. So this one pretty much goes out all the way anyways. But don't forget to come right inside as well and overlap your colors so that you get that nice. Does this hold the Tim Holtz mini inks? That I don't know. Now, do I have mini inks I can test? Shelby, do you know that? Because I don't know. I want to say yes, but I'm not sure. I know they have their own holder for the 3-inch ones, but I'm not sure about this one. I don't have any of the mini inks handy, so I can't really test it. Does anyone know? So that's the pink. And then, yes, it does. Okay, thank you, Jennifer. Yep, so this holds the mini inks as well. And I find these are really great. You can use like a silicone mat or the grip mats and things like that. But again, sometimes finding space for your mats and getting other things stuck to them and whatever, it's I don't know. I love using the ink stands. I find they work really well. I need to use my ink stand so I don't get ink on my hands. Yes. And I love them. I think they work well. And the ones for the mini ink cubes, it gives you enough for 4. So if you're working with multiple colors, you can, you know, stack them all in there. I'm just going to pull them in and out as necessary here. But the next one is passion fruit. So that's going to be like sort of this mango color that you'll see. And again, I'm just going to pop that in there, and I'm going to ink up my brush. And then I'm just going to kind of pull that color. This is a lighter one, so just kind of pull it out. Now, a lot of this is going to get covered up with when you put your photos and things like that on there, but it's a pretty fun technique just to kind of expand that color and pull it out so you can see it a bit better. And if you get these little, you know, blotches on there, don't stress about it. It's all good. Like I said, you're going to be putting things over top of it. It doesn't have to be 100% perfect. And then I've got a little piece of that mango coming out here. So I'm just going to pull that over just a bit more. And you're basically going to do that for all of the colors. Okay? And then, once you're done that, then you're going to go back with these colors and you're going to splatter. Now, the splatter, I think, is what really makes it awesome. Oh, thank you, Shelby, for putting that picture of the inkstand up. Doesn't it look pretty all loaded up there with that ink? And they do have different sizes, so you can get it for your larger ink pads. You can get it for the large, like distress oxide pads. They have like a square one. I have several. There's an oval one for the Catherine Pooler inks. So there's lots of options. So depending on which ink company you're investing in, and maybe you need them all because you've got inks from all the companies. The large rectangle one works for all the standard large pads, and then the oval one is for the Catherine Pooler ones. So that's the difference there. And then there's the square one for the oxides. Okay, and then this is sweet mustard. I may as well just finish this because I want to demo the splattering. So now we're going to pull the yellow out. And I thought, when I started doing this, I thought, ooh, this is awesome, because now the color blends right out, and it just looks really cool. So this is all filled in down here. I'm just doing this top part, but you're going to do it all over your papers. And then we need orange. So that was clementine, I said, yes? Yeah. And again, I apologize for not bringing home the paper pre-ink blended because I forgot that I had already started doing this, and I was kind of mad when I saw it. I thought, oops. Okay, so I just have to pull out a couple more colors here. Okay. So that's the orange, and then we're going to do the light teal. So that was the Paradise. That's this one. And I may as well pull out the aquamarine as well. So they're both considered a teal color, but one is a more of like a blue teal, and the other one is like a green teal. So this is the bluish color here. So you just kind of work out from the design that is already in your paper. And you just kind of widen it as you go out as well. Because as the rays go out, they get a bit wider. And it just looks like super cool. And then we'll do the greeny teal. So I have my window open. We have our air conditioning on, but I'm in my craft room and I close the door because I can't stand air conditioning. Anyways, I can hear a cricket outside, and you know what that means? That summer is winding down. Crickets are a late summer thing, and we're already into August. I can't even believe it. I don't even want to think about it. It makes me sad. Oh, thank you for putting that up, Shelby. So if you look in the comments, ladies, you will see a picture of the paper without the blending. And I really wish I would have brought it home. I'm sorry. Okay, so that's that. So I just think we have to do that dark blue and we are good. All right, so that's this one here. So that was Blue Jay. It's not really a dark blue, but it's the darkest blue here. We are sold out of it, but I added one quick to show you. Oh, perfect. Yeah, we don't have any in stock. You can only get it in a bundle. This was one of the most popular papers from this collection. That one and the Word one. Okay, so I think we're good. So now I'll demo with the teal for the splattering. You're going to do the same basic thing with each color. But I'm just going to clean this up. It's really easy, but the trick is you want to get, well, I wanted bigger splatters. You can definitely use your fan brush or whatever to do your splattering, but I wanted something that was going to make big splatters. So what you're going to do is take your ink and smush it onto your non-porous work surface. So glass mat, silicone mat, the Tim Holtz craft sheet, whatever you're working with. And then you want to spray some water to dilute that. And then you want to take your big brush and you want to pick up some of that ink. And I'm just going to turn this so that you can see. And you're going to splatter it onto your paper. But you want to try to get some big splatters. And they go on kind of dark, but they will soak into the paper and sort of fade out. But you want that nice, big, chunky splatter. And I'm just going to add some over here. And I think there's enough down here. But you just splatter until you kind of get the look that you want. And you're going to do that in all the rainbow colors. And you just repeat that process. So you're just going to clean up your area that you were working in there and then just put down the new color. You just want to make sure that your surface is not wet when you're smushing your ink pad onto it, because you don't want to pick any of this up into your ink pad. Okay, and then cleanup's pretty easy. You just microfiber cloth and you're good to go. So now I can take my next color and I can put that on there. And then when I did the calendar side, let me grab my layout. There is no sun on this. So at first I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with this half of the paper, because I didn't know if I added too much color over here, if it would make it look too busy next to the paper with the sun. So originally I had everything sort of laid on here without any color behind it, and it looked okay. But I thought, you know, I really feel like I want to bring some of that rainbow over. So what I did was I kind of started in the middle here, and I just started, you know, branching out with the colors. It doesn't have to be perfect because, like I said, you're going to cover a lot of it up. Just sort of blend the color on, overlapping a little bit, smushing it together, and then do the same thing. You take your ink and smush it, pick it up, and splatter it on. And that kind of gives you the same look that is on the sun side of the paper. It does work quite well together. So when you put them side by side, you can see that that color is sort of transferred over here a little bit, which really helps. But same exact technique for both papers. And this paper is just a regular pattern paper. It's a very lightweight. You don't want to splatter on tons of water because you're going to get a lot of rippling, but just what you saw me do with the quick spray of water and then splattering it on, it doesn't give it any warping at all. Like I have no warping with the paper at all. So it worked really well. And then, yeah, so that's it. Now let's talk about the stitching. I have a scrap piece paper here. I have demoed the stitching in previous months. This is just a scrap that I was blending on, but I want to go over it again with you. The key to piercing your holes is to pierce into something. We do have piercing mats, and it's a must as far as I'm concerned, because you have to pierce your holes into something, and if you're doing it into a hard surface, your piercing tool is not going to go through. Now, when you are stitching, you don't want to, I'm going to just show you the difference. So here is, if I push my piercing tool all the way in, a hole that it makes, and then right next to it is just the tip. So you don't want big gaping holes. when you're doing your stitching, because when you put your thread through, you'll really see the hole. If you just do small holes, it's much nicer, especially if you're not using all 6 strands of the embroidery floss. So you definitely want to be careful when you're doing your holes. Now this is the 0 centering ruler. I'm not using the 0 centering part of it, but I'm very much liking that every 1/8 of an inch is marked on the edge for stitching. So I'm just going to, oops, push this out a little bit more. I'm just going to put some holes in there, and I'm just piercing right along the ruler. So I've got a few stitches in there. Now I pre-thread my needle because I did not pre-thread it one time, and it took me like 5 minutes to get the thread through. So I pre-thread it. So you're going to start from the back, and you're going to come up one of the holes. Now on the back, what I do to fasten the end, I don't tie a knot. I just take a little piece of score tape and I fasten it on with that. So you're just going to take the end and just move it off to the side and just fasten it down with that score tape. And then that way it's not going to go anywhere, and you don't have to worry about pulling it all the way through. So you've come up from the back, and now you're going to go down the next hole. Okay, so now you've got your little stitch there. So can you see that? Okay, and now you're going to come back up the next hole. Okay, so you can see now you're like that. I'm waiting for my iPad to catch up. And now you're going to go back down the previous hole. So let me just get this in place here, and then you can kind of see. Oh, Shelby's throwing the needle threader, which is really what I need. So I'm just going to pull that down. And now you can see that you have 2 stitches there. Okay, and then you're going to come up the next hole from the back, and then down the previous one. So this is called a back stitch. It's very easy to do, and it just gives you that nice line of stitching. So as long as you pierce your holes straight, then your stitching will be straight. Now I'm just going to show you again the stitching on my layout, which is where I buried it. So I stitched the background of my layout. I'm just going to show it to you over here. I stitched the background of my layout, and then I decided to do the ink blending, and I actually ended up ink blending over top of my white thread. So I actually have a rainbow of colors going down the side, which actually is really cool, and it taught me something, which I'm going to show you right now. So we often use colored floss when we stitch. And, you know, we're always trying to match it up perfectly, but guess what? You don't have to. If you've got ink and you've got white floss, you can dye your floss any color you want. You just have to add ink. Now, it won't be as vibrant and dark as, you know, by buying the color. Well, I guess you could make it. You could maybe use your re-inker. You could really add some color, but I just made blue floss. So I'm just going to hold this up here so you can see that I've made blue floss. So if you are ever wanting to stitch with a color and you don't have the color, then you can make your own colored floss by using your ink. So another great thing to do with all this ink that we have collected. But that's how you do the stitching. And I mean, I stitched first and then I ink blended, so I ended up with colored thread, but you can do all your ink blending first and then do your stitching, and then you won't end up with colored thread. It'll stay white. Either way will work great. What was the other thing I was going to demo? I did the ink, I did the stitching, and then I said I was going to demo something else. What was it? Oh, the stamping off. Okay, so I need a stamp. I did not pull mine out. I'm just going to grab any stamp. Stamping off is easy to do, and it's, you'd think I'd have a stamp handy. Hang on. Here we go. I'll grab something here. Stamping off is easy, and I think that it's really cool. What did I spray on my mat to clean it off? Oh, it's just alcohol. This is from the Dollarama. But make sure you get at least 70%. If you get like 50%, it's like spraying water. It doesn't really do much. But it's great for cleaning stencils, cleaning your glass mat off. It works awesome. Do not use it on stamps or anything like that. But it works great for doing that. And the great thing about alcohol is that it dries almost instantly. So you don't have to wait for it to dry. What did I do with my acrylic block? Here we go. And I need an ink pad. So when you stamp off, what you're going to do is you're going to stamp, and then without re-inking your stamp, you stamp again and again and again. So you stamp once, and then again and again and again. And as the ink fades out, that's called stamping off. So that way it gives you this look right here. So you can see how it is bold, and then it starts to fade out. Oh, it's easier to see over here. I really like the way that that looks. So that is what's called stamping off, and it just, it's a really cool little technique. So you stamp, and I mean, if it's too bold, like if you don't want to go right to your paper right away, stamp off on something else first and then go on to your layout, so you get that nice sort of faded out. This is a much bolder stamp, but you can kind of play around with that. Karen Harmon, oops, an hour late. No worries. This will live on our Facebook page forever. So you can go back and watch it as many times as you like. So I'm just going to get rid of some of this stuff here. And I'm going to pull the layout back on. First thing I'm going to get rid of is this water. I don't want that to fall all over everything. And I will just pull the layout back on so you can see again. Let's not lose the needle. Things get out of control in here pretty quickly. Okay, so here is the layout, and here is the calendar side. There we go. Does anyone else have any questions that they would like me to answer live before we sign off? Shelby's going to populate the calendar category with the bundles and the die cuts for the word July. And then all of the add-ons that we have are there. Just like any other time, if you see something that you wanted has sold out, just let us know. If the calendar bundles themselves sell out, we can't do much about that. But I think we've got our numbers down pretty good. Remember, if you did not pick up June, you want to make sure that you grab that. We only have a couple left, and then they're going to be gone. So that's that. Any other questions that you have regarding the layout? I'm not seeing anything, so I think that's it. I am going to try very hard to do a live tomorrow. It'll be a product and inspiration live. I have not done one in 2 weeks, so I have a stack of stuff. I just don't know what time. It's not going to be first thing in the morning, but I'm thinking like sometime in the afternoon. It could be early, could be later. I'm not 100% sure yet. But I will post on Facebook in the morning and let you know when that will be. And you can tune in and see all kinds of fun stuff that we've got going on. We will be sending out an email as well. A couple things going on this weekend and early next week. So watch your emails for that. I think that's it for me. Can you tell me the actual size of the photos on the right? Well, Michelle, so the larger ones are all 3x4s. I'm not going to give you the measurements for these because you're not going to be able to duplicate them exactly. It really does just depend on collaging and cutting your photos apart. What I try to do when I collage photos, some tips, is have some horizontals and some verticals in your collage that you choose, because that way it's a lot more interesting when you put them together. And I don't necessarily collage them on my layout the same way that they're collaged on the photo. Does that make sense? I just sort of cut them out and then I start playing around with them. Right page, this size. Oh yeah, these are all, sorry, I don't know left from right. Honestly, like I don't even know how I got my driver's license. The instructors told me to turn left and I turned right. I'm so bad. Yes, these are 3x4s. And then you do have to cut them down just slightly so that they'll hang out the side of the frame. But you just cut them down just a wee bit. Yeah, I'm terrible with left and right. I totally read that wrong. Sorry. Yeah, so all these big ones are all 3x4s to start. And then I just trimmed them down just a wee bit. And then have fun collaging, because it's really a lot of fun. I noticed when I looked through my book, when I started in January, I wasn't doing these clusters of photos quite like I am now, and I really like the way that they look. So so I'm quite enjoying that. But you do you. I mean, whatever you like. You might want to have just 1 or 2 photos on this side, and blow them up a bit larger. Whatever works for you. I'm always scrambling and trying to get lots of photos on, even if they're small. As if they're represented, I think it's awesome to go back and look at it. So anyways, that's it for me. I'm going to sign off for tonight, and I hope you enjoy the July bundle, and you'll see me next month with the August one. But in the meantime, you can tune in tomorrow for another live. I'll just make sure I post sometime tomorrow morning and let you know when. Okay, have a great night, guys.